Now, the opposition NDC says it will, in the stronger terms, resist attempts by the Electoral Commission to compile a new voters register for the 2020 elections. The party has been addressing a news conference in Accra where they are demanding answers from the Electoral Commission about its decision to make a new voter roll. Though the party concedes improving the electoral process is imperative, it says attempts by the Electoral Commission to change a register which was only days ago used to elect more than 50,000 assembly members across the country will be unconstitutional. For the NDC, a wiser approach would be an open and wide consultation with all stakeholders on the real need for a new register. Komla Adom has been sitting through the press conference to tell us what specific reasons the party is given for their latest position. Komla, do tell us.
So, Gifty, one of the reasons they say they are kicking against this particular move is because of the financial, arrangements or the commitment to this process. They say the figures that they are gleaning is that the Electoral Commission is going to spend 444 million cedis to acquire this new biometric system, which they say is a drain on the scarce resources of the state. They also go ahead to say, for example, that there are two reasons why an electoral roll is important. One, to sort of support the credibility of the elections, and then also to cut out fraud and electoral, malpractice, etc. They say, as we speak at this stage, these two conditions have not arisen, for which reason the Electoral Commission will seek to do a new voters register, a voter system. Another issue they raised at this particular press conference is that, as we heard in the intro you read there, only days ago we had the district level elections. These same registers were used by the Electoral Commission to elect these assembly members and unit committee members, and so they find no reason why the Electoral Commission will seek to get a new register at this point.
Who makes this point? Can we hear this person who makes this point?
So the General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esedun Kitka, he addressed this particular press conference today and made this case strongly. He says for the past meetings at the IPAC level with the Electoral Commission, there has been no discussion or no consultation by the group to have this new register done.
Okay.
So he makes the point that, according to a communique the Electoral Commission issued sometime this year, it says that there had been a consensus among the parties to have this new register. But at the end, it says no. At no point.
They're challenging that.
Yes. At no point at IPAC meeting was there an agreement to have this.
Okay.
So Johnson Esedun Kitka makes the point that the Electoral Commission chairperson only made a comment in passing during the IPAC meeting, and there was not proper sort of engagement on this particular
on that issue.
Yes.
What, do they raise any issues about the problems that were reviewed during the recent elections, the district level elections with the register? Because there were times that people could not find their names, and these were issues that we correspondents on the ground reported. Did they hear about these, and how does it factor into their argument?
So the NDC says, for example, one of the key points they make at this press conference is that we had an election days ago. It was successful largely. The Electoral Commission themselves had said that it was a satisfactory process, for which reason they are also, throwing their weight behind the said voters register, because they say if there was a problem, the Electoral Commission would not have described its own process after the election as satisfactory. And they quote Bosman Asari, who is a deputy chairperson of the commission, as making this point here on this network, on the AM show with Roland Walker. And so they say that as we speak, even Codeo, which is an election observer group, also made the recommendation that all biometric devices at the centers where they had observers were working perfectly and had no challenges. And so for that reason, these two at least are evidence to the fact that there's absolutely no problem with the voters register.
Is there any demand they're making on the election management body? Essentially,
the party says the EC must halt any steps to have this new process done. The NDC is of the view that, at no point would we need a new voters register because we are just months to the 2020 elections, and that in other jurisdictions where there's been calls or demands for a new voter roll, there's been adequate time, say 2-3 years, for the process to be undergone. But here we have just 12 months to the elections. It will make no sense for the Electoral Commission to go ahead and do this register because it may plunge the country into chaos.
Apart from the General Secretary who raises all these concerns, who else spoke at this press conference, and what do they say?
So Gifty, the chairman of the party, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, was also at this press conference. He made a strong case that, from his experience monitoring elections and working with electoral management bodies, etc., it will make no sense at this point for the Electoral Commission to go ahead. And they were charging the Electoral Commission to take a cue from their predecessor, Mr. Farijan. They say when Mr. Farijan was at the helm, I mean, he supervised the process. It was under his tenure, for example, that we had the biometric system come through, and this biometric system was even championed by the now governing New Patriotic Party. So they see no reason why this same, party now in government is, sort of championing another biometric register. They say that the political climate at this point absolutely does not support the EC's current position.
So I suppose from all that you said that the district level election was the main focus of this press conference today.
As an evidence to back their claim that they do
There's
not
no need for a new
voters
voters register. Is there anything else we should know, Komla?
The party essentially, they say they will in the coming days, make some more demands. They say, well, if the EC does not want to back down on their position now, maybe the other way out is for them to hold like a stakeholder conference with all the parties to set up like a technical committee with experts in the field from all the parties, also from the Electoral Commission side. So they thrash out all the, the issues, the outstanding issues. And if there is a need for them at that point to go ahead with it, fair. But apart from that, there's no reason why the EC should go ahead with this process.
Well, the NPP has also been addressing a press conference. We have Latif Idris there. We'll be crossing over to him to find out what more happened there. But also, they've also been talking about the new, the need for a new voters register. And they say the party's position, according to Bobian Samoa, is that if the EC satisfies 3 conditions, which is time, explanation that the only one register can work for 2020 elections, and resources, availability of resources, then the NPP will agree to a new register. So very interesting dynamics there. The NDC's position is that we don't have enough time. We've used this electoral roll to conduct recent elections for the district assemblies, and we cannot afford to run another register. But the NPP is saying that as long as the EC can satisfy these 3 things, time, can they work within the 12 months to produce a new register? Can they explain that the 2020 elections, that we can work with the voters register for 2020 elections, and can they explain that they have enough resources available? The NPP says it will be backing it.
And Gifty, a quick one. One of the issues that came up at the press conference was there was a comparison between getting the new biometric system done and then the NIA system. You know that the NIA Ghana card registration has been ongoing for like 2 years, and so we still do not have as many people registered to have their Ghana cards. They say just about 2 million people, and so they say if you juxtapose that to going through a whole process to get the citizens again undergo the biometric processes to get onto a new voters register, it doesn't make sense for them to have a new one.
It doesn't make sense. Like I said, we'll try and get through to Latif Idris so that we find out, we get a wrap of everything that the NPP talked about at their press conference. By the way, we brought it to you live a few hours back. It was mainly really about the conference which is happening on the 21st. Which is on Sunday, but we will get Latif. Komla, thank you very much for that update. Komla Adum there, who represented us at the press conference of the Opposition National Democratic Congress.